Hi, welcome or welcome back to Lit Couture. My name is Kristen and I am super excited for the books that are coming out in 2024, and I realized there was no way that I could narrow it down to just 24 books. Instead, I've decided that I'm going to start a new series and I will be giving you the heads up for books that are coming out 2 months in advance. We can try and predict which books look like they might be good candidates for book boxes, and I will be letting you know at the end of the videos. I'll tell you when, don't worry if you think it's spoilers, which books have definitely been chosen for book box and special editions, and we can go from there. For this first video, I'll be doing January and February, and if you don't know me, most of these books will be fantasy or romantasy, but I also have regular romance and rom-coms and some thrillers to look forward to as well. But without further ado, let's get into January. We have A Fragile Enchantment by Alison Saft. Now, this is described as a Regency England-inspired fantasy sweeping romance with enough intrigue for Lady Whistledown herself. I added that part. Alright, so we've got Neve. Now, Neve is a magical dressmaker, and by magical dressmaker, apparently, I mean, or the author means, she can use her magic to weave emotions and memories into fabric. I'm not sure I'd want that. But okay, Neve, do your thing. So, she gets commissioned for making all of the clothes for a royal wedding in a neighboring kingdom. And I mean all the clothes, like all the clothes, for everyone. We're very happy for Neve. She accidentally kind of sort of finds herself in a scandal when a gossip columnist cannot help but notice that her and the prince, which is a problem because he's the groom, Kit Carmine, happen to have quite the chemistry. He's like, hey, I won't say anything so long as you help me uncover the royal family secrets. And she's like, well, crap, guess I'm stuck. And of course, you know, it turns out the rock goes deep beneath all those glittering balls and lovely garden parties. And outside the palace walls, the peasants, well, they're pissed. Lots of unrest. So, of course, eventually she has to choose between exposing the royal family and risking her new love. Yeah, it totally sounds like me. Right. We get the wedding clothes, the whole... Okay, we're excited. We have Dark Star Burning, Ash Falls White by Emily Wenzel. Now, this is the sequel to Song of Silver Flame Like Night, so I can't really tell you a whole lot about this, except this is the second book in the Song of the Last Kingdom series. Illumicrate is putting out a special edition of this if you bought their first special edition in your book box. If you don't remember what this is about, this is the girl who has that weird mark on her arm, follows a guy to a magic school, the whole kingdom's in turmoil. I kept making fun of the black tortoise demon. It turns out he's huge and really could hurt me. That one. Country being conquered. Asian inspired. It was really good. I gave it 4 stars. The only thing I didn't like was that parts of it were very confusing, but by the end, totally in love, and their love is super duper pure. Check it out if you like Asian inspired fantasy. On the second, also, finally, I was trying to hunt these stupid books down, but they took them out of independent publishing and it was impossible to get my hands on them, so I am so excited to get my hands on The Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. Yes, no, that's actually the title. I'm not making this. Okay, so this is about Surin. Guess what kind of farmer she is? Yep, nope, cinnamon farmer, you got it. She is also a witch. Okay, and one day she gets drunk and saves Fallon, who's a demon. He is described kind of as a golden retriever type, but he's also, you know, like a crazed murder type at times too. So, you know, peak demon material here. This is comedic, light, fluffy, and also smutty. So it should be all our little hearts' desire, right? Fallon the demon decides to drag Cinnamon along with him on a nice adventure to save his people from a witch who's been enslaving all of them. And meanwhile, she thought this witch was like super awesome and they were all kind of like worshiping her a little kind of it. So it's bad. It's bad news all around. So apparently they run into things like a bucket of nachos, not that weird, a lesbian centaur, much more exciting, and we get a little light BDSM along the way. I'm looking forward to this oh so very much. It's the first of 3 books in a series, I believe, and I'm hoping there will be more. Apparently they're hilarious and very spicy. Count me in. Next up on the 9th, we are switching things up a little bit and we are checking out a thriller. I know it's been all fantasy so far. We are looking at Rachel Hawkins' The Heiress. Now, this is about Camden, and he is the son of Ruby of the North Carolina McTavishes. You know they're rich just by the way I said that, right? So she was North Carolina's richest woman, and also she kind of got kidnapped as a child, and it was like a super famous story. Not a boring life, this woman. She also had 4 husbands. Not a boring life. When he inherits everything, he's like, I'm gonna leave it all behind, the house, the money, the crazy, crazy family, and go off to Colorado. Why Colorado? I don't know. And become a teacher. And he does. And he marries a woman named Jules. And this phrase concerns me, who also has her own messy past. That's not going to come back to bite them. No, not at all. But, you know, they live for a while. Things are going great. I think they're gone like 10 years or something. And then his uncle dies. So he does the right thing. He goes back to North Carolina. He's there for the funeral. And Jules is looking around this mansion and is like, hi. Are you seeing this, Cam? Because this is pretty freaking amazing. And Cam's like, okay, kind of maybe we'll like look into some stuff and, you know, we'll check it out a little. And so he's like, some of the stuff around my mom's kidnapping, like there were some rumors. It's kind of sketch. Let's see if some of that's true. And you know what? She did have 4 husbands. And now that I'm looking at their deaths, they were all kind of sus. And you know what? Why exactly did she adopt me? Fun stuff. Looking forward to The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins. This could be a good book of the month pick. We'll see. Also on the 9th, we have Sanctuary of the Shadow by Aurora Asher. Now, this is a Red Tower book, which absolutely means I ordered it. Red Tower has me by the throat. I have pre-ordered all of their books. I'll be alerting you to all their books because you know you want all the pretty sprayed edges. And if you don't, that's fine, but I'm alerting you anyway because people are going to be scrambling for them eventually. So in case you're one of those people, I don't want you scrambling. I love you all. You're welcome. This is a debut, which we love to see. Here's what we got so far. We got Harrow, who was the last of her slaughtered clan. Oh dear. This is off to a good start. So this is kind of like a circusy thing, and she is like kind of hiding in plain sight, using just enough of her powers to like entertain the humans and like pretend it's like not magic, but it is magic kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, they're not telling us much about okay? He has wings and dark powers, and he is certainly a monster. Okay. And as she falls for his darkness, it's quite possible that her light may not be enough to save them both. Unfortunately, as she falls for him, she's kind of like pulling her powers out, pulling his powers out, and accidentally luring out her enemies. And she's also given them the perfect weapon against her. Mr. Romance, who still doesn't have a name. Why all the secrecy? I don't know. TikTok has referred to this as Avatar: The Last Airbender meets The Sandman. That means very little to me. I did watch The Sandman with my husband. I remember nothing. So if that means something to you, congratulations. I hope it's exciting for you. Moving on to the 16th, we have Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands by Heather Fawcett. Now, I can't tell you anything about this because it's a sequel. The first book is amazing. It is about Emily and her academic rival Wendell. And these two are adorable and wonderful and fantastic, and they research the Fae and the folk. She has a dog named Shadow. It is terrific. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the sequel. I love them with my whole gosh darn heart and infinite library. If you're watching this, I am so jealous you already have a copy. I have not even ordered mine yet because I will be waiting for Fairyloot to put out their matching sequel to my special edition. So I'll talk to you all about this sometime in like June. Next up on the 16th is So Let Them Burn by Camilla Cole. And I think this would be a great one for a special edition. Book boxes, you're not listening to me, but I'm letting you know because honestly, the description is fantastic. Now this is Jamaican inspired, which sounds amazing already. The cover actually reminds me so much of Threads That Bind. So we'll see. So we get God's blessed Farron, who basically has to decide between saving her sister and protecting her homeland. Wow, no pressure there. So Farron can channel the power of gods. Point blank, period. And she did this 5 years ago. She freed her whole island from the dragon-riding Langley Empire. Honestly, I feel like that's a missed opportunity. Like, make friends with them. Get the dragons. you have the powers that they're gonna want to work with, but whatever. Okay, sure. So she's now 17. I'm sorry. She was 12 when she freed an entire empire. Does anyone else feel like they're wasting their lives and potential now? She's had all the time to build up power. She's all powered up. And no wars. So she is bored because the country's at peace. So she's a legend, and she's also a nuisance to her neighbors. I'm getting the adorable vibes. I'm getting like, ooh, Hercules. Hercules when he was running around and like accidentally like breaking entire like buildings. That's the vibe I'm getting here. So eventually they're like, you are going to a peace summit. And basically she's like, great, I'm gonna go be a trained monkey in heels and show off my powers. And like, that's what I do now. I perform. Terrific, wonderful, fantastic, thanks, love y'all too. And she brings along her sister. What she doesn't expect is her sister Elara to form a bond with an enemy dragon. And the sister. So she's like, yo gods, this is bad. What do I do? And they're like, well, we have bad news. The only way to break the bond is to kill your sister. And she's like, no. So desperate for another solution, she goes down some dark paths and learns some fun secrets from the Langley Empire. And yeah, that's the description. I'm really hoping we're going to get some dragon shifters or some sort of romance somewhere, because it does say that we get some sort of like sapphic something somewhere. So fingers crossed. I don't know where that's coming in. We'll see, because it does say queer fantasy. Well, it doesn't say sapphic. I'm assuming sapphic. I've only heard girls. We'll see where it goes. But apparently we also get a lot of stuff about anti-colonialism and anti-imperialism. So it looks like we're touching on some heavier subjects as well. I can't wait for this book. I think it sounds amazing. I'm very excited for this one. Now I'm going to completely throw you again and switch back to the thrillers. I will be shocked to death if Book of the Month does not choose this one, because they have chosen at least the last two Stacey Willingham books. This is Only If You're Lucky by Stacey Willingham. So this is a college set thriller, which, God, I miss college so very much sometimes. This is set at a liberal arts college in South Carolina. Okay, so we have four best friends who are living off campus their sophomore year. Pretty sure that's definitely not allowed your sophomore year, but whatevs. You guys are really lucky. We have Margot, and it sounds like this is mostly from her POV. Just a side note, Margot, right after she graduated from high school, her bestie, who was named Eliza, right after graduation, she was murdered 3 weeks after her high school graduation. So if that's noted in the description, I feel like that's gonna come back to bite us all. But anyway, Margot, she's the shy, careful sidekick. We have Lucy, who's the star of the show, the magnetic ringleader. We have Sloane, who's the sarcastic one, and Nicole, who's the nice one. This is the middle of sophomore year. Everything's going great. Margot feels really lucky because for some reason Lucy singled her out and was like, come live with us off campus in this house. They're all kind of like total opposites. Think like, pretty little liars. There you go. And they're all doing great. They're living, loving life. Right next door to them, a fraternity guy gets murdered. Yeah, that's gonna ruin your sophomore year. The same morning, they realize that Lucy's also missing. That's the end of the summary. Yay! Looking forward to that. I really hope Lucy's okay. Following that, we have The Fury. I would also be shocked if this is not a Book of the Month pick. This is by Alex Michaelides. That's right, Silent Patient, The Maidens. Love him or hate him, he is a big name. You can't deny it. So this one actually sounds absolutely amazing. We've got a game of cat and mouse, and also like murder mystery on an island. So we have Lana, and she is a reclusive, retired movie star, but she's super duper nice because now that she's bought her own like Greek island or whatever, she invites all of her friends to come spend Easter there with her. This is all well and good until there's like a giant storm and then one of them gets murdered on the island. Not good. It's narrated by one of the survivors. Not shocking coming from Alex Michaelides. Apparently everyone has concealing hatred for everyone else and lots of fury. Blah, blah, blah. So it sounds like the kind of thing that should be fun. I'm curious to see what the twist is and if he's going to really surprise us all. I loved his last book until the very ending, and I'm curious to see if I'm going to hate the very ending of this one as well. Good luck to you, Alex Michaelides. Next, we have The Longest Autumn. by Amy Avery. And I'm sighing because if autumn could be year-round, I would be happy, although apparently this book is telling me that's bad and I'm still ignoring that fact. There is a book box doing this, and I will be hunting it down from a scalper because I am not a subscriber. So this is apparently for fans of Ariadne. I'm also getting echoes of like Hades and Persephone, and I'm also getting weird echoes of the spin-off series from Jennifer L. Armentrout, but whatever. We have Tierney, who is one of 4 humans who has the job of escorting gods to and from like the god realm and the human realm when it's like the changing of the seasons. So she is the one who gets to escort Autumn! Everyone's so smart. Unfortunately, this time when she escorts Autumn down to Earth, that means it's time for Autumn. When the gods are on Earth, it's their time to rule, you know. He'll, go back up to Godland when it's time for winter to come down. This mirror that they go through in order to go between the lands shatters. And now he's stuck on Earth, and the world is stuck in eternal autumn, hence the longest autumn. You got this. So this is unfortunate. Tierney's migraines return. They're called debilitating headaches in the description. I'm calling them migraines. And autumn, well, it stays autumn. And more autumn. And as the god is there longer and longer, he's becoming more and more human and more vulnerable. And his heart is becoming more and more human. And he's slowly noticing Tierney more and more and more. The priests are trying to repair this mirror, but an enemy lurks amongst them. By the way, they're trying to fend off starvation, which is looming because in an endless autumn, it's just harvest. And then you've harvested the food. And then no more food grows. So that's bad. Good luck to Tierney and Autumn. I would live in autumn. God, okay. Moving on to the 23rd, we have Faebound. Now this is Faebound number 1, and this is by Sarah L. Arifi. Yura is a violent warrior who has known nothing but bloodshed and violence. Why is this on my list? Her sister Lettel is a diviner searching for prophecies of a better future. That's okay, much better. When Yura makes a fatal mistake and is exiled, they both leave together and stumble upon an impossibility, which is a Fae court. Now I remember why I'm excited for this one. You say Fae court, I say how high. That's not the saying, but you know what I mean. They haven't been seen in a millennium, like, the Backstreet Boys' definitive album. Now they are a part of the seductive world, and they find themselves torn between loyalty to their homeland. Why? You've been exiled. They kicked you out. You knew nothing but violence. No one was happy. You're in a Fae court. Each other. Still confused. And their hearts? Mostly, I just want to understand the end of this explanation, because their homeland sounds terrible, and the Fae court sounds great. So, what's up here, guys? Let me know. I'm very curious. Also, on the 23rd, I think this was the first romance that I am excited for, brought to you by the couple that gave us the roughest draft, which I gave 5 stars to. Okay, I absolutely freaking loved that book. We get The Breakup Tour by Emily Wibberley and Austin Stigman Broker. Riley is a promising singer-songwriter who shoots to superstardom overnight when her lead single on her breakup song album just like blows up. But when her ex-husband claims the song about him, she is like, oh, hell no. And she calls Max for the first time in 10 years. That's right, 10 years. Who is the real inspiration for the song of the summers. Why are we releasing this in January? Apparently he's like her high school or college love or something, and she's like, can you come along on the tour with me and be my muse? You are the muse for all these songs. Please come with me, help me make sure this album's perfect, and like inspire me further. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'll come along as your muse. He's also gonna come along as their second chance romance, but he doesn't know that part yet because he doesn't know he's in a book. Looking forward to this one. A strange one on this list coming out on the 23rd is The Mysterious Case of the Alperton Angels by Janice Howlett. And if it sounds familiar to you, you probably live in the UK because this book came out for you like a whole freaking year ago. If I had known this, I would have bought it through Blackwell's and been like, nanny, nanny, boo-boo. But I didn't, so I couldn't. And now I'm salty about it. I don't know why the US is getting this an entire year later, but we are. So here we go. This is about a cult, sure, why not, who brainwashed a teenage girl into thinking her baby was the Antichrist. We're off to a fantastic start in this one. The girl finally comes to her senses, calls the police, and then the angels go to heaven of their own volition, and the mom and the baby disappear. This is many years later, like 18 to be precise, because crime author Amanda wants to revive her fading career, and the baby is about to turn 18, and she's like, oh my god, like if I can find this kid just as he's becoming an adult, this will totally be the true crime story of the gosh darn year. The only problem is she's not the only one who's figured this out, and her rival Oliver is just as smart and has better connections, and is working to find the baby as well. The two of them are for some reason forced to collaborate. It says forced. The word forced is used. And is there to be a romance? Do they do romance in these kind of stories? It feels weird, but like, why not? Like, I'll always do a rival romance. Whatever. As they're working together, they find out the angel's story is apparently darker and stranger than they thought. I'm sorry. It's a cult with the Antichrist. There's no darker and whatever. The baby is the Antichrist. That would do it. And apparently they become at risk of becoming a part of the actual story just by investigating it. I don't know how. And that is the number one rule of investigation, to not become a part of the story. It's the number one rule in anthropology too, isn't it? Like in photography, like don't just observe. All right, whatever. Very curious to hear from you, Janice Hallett and the Alperton Angels. On the 30th is the book we've all been waiting for, or at least I certainly have, House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. And if you haven't, oh well. So, yes, I've pre-ordered multiple copies. The one I'm most excited for is coming from Walmart. No, I haven't read House of Sky and Breath yet, because I decided after reading about 50 pages I was going to stop, read the entire Throne of Glass series, which, yes, I did. And somewhere along the way, someone spoiled the ending for me. If you know, you know. So I'll be reading that in January, right before the next book comes out. And then I will be reading that book so gosh darn fast. I can probably read it faster than anybody. I will make sure of it and not get spoiled for anything that happens in that book. And I'm fine. I'm hoping Fairyloot will put out, or did I order from Illumicrate? Whoever I bought the special edition from will be putting out a matching one for me to purchase. And don't worry, you don't have to buy all the special editions if you're one of those people who's really annoyed that it wasn't up to SJM, and B, she always puts out all the extra chapters online eventually. Calm down. If you don't know what I am talking about, Sarah J. Maas has a new-ish urban fantasy series that starts with House of Earth and Blood. It is basically about Bryce Quinlan, who is half human, half fae, and fallen angel. I know. Who's called the Umbra Mortis, and he's like the angel of death. He's supposed to be really, really scary, but he's just really pretty. He's actually like really pretty. Named Hunt Athalar. I love his name so much. They have to get together to solve a series of murders that is, like demons haunting their city. It doesn't sound that complicated. It's incredibly complicated. The world building is insane. It's over 900 pages, and I cried for at least the last 100 of them, and a good part of the beginning as well. And if you think I sound discombobulated describing it, good. Those are the vibes. Those are exactly the vibes. Finally, the last book for January is City of Stardust by Georgia Summers. Another debut, which we love to see. So we have Penelope, who never ages, never grows sick, and never forgives the gosh darn debt of any kind, ever. When Violet Everly was a child, her mother Marianne vanished on a dark and stormy night, determined to break the curse on their family that always takes the best and the brightest. Like, poof. They vanished. And no one knows for what transgression. It happened too far in the past. No one remembers. Penelope decides, you know what, Violet, I get that you're not happy about this. I'm going to give you 10 years to find your mom, and I'm going to let you borrow my assistant, Alexander, to help you. Obviously, she's not going to trust him. He's going to be hot and they're going to fall for each other. I really, really, really hope. But she is going to need that knowledge, because she is about to descend into a world of, I quote, a world of seductive, magical, power-hungry scholars, fickle gods, and vengeful monsters. Yeah, I'm gonna like this one. And all of this she must do to find Marianne, and also the key to the City of Stardust. There it is. And that is where she is going to find how the Everly story began. My curiosity is officially peaked. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of January. Ready for February? Welcome to February, the month de l'amour. and occasionally Mardi Gras, which certainly leads to some l'amour. While the month may be short, it certainly is coming in with some heavy hitters, and that includes the fashion I'm serving. Bows are going to be huge in 2024, in case you were wondering. What? The name of the channel isn't completely for show. On the 6th, that's right, February is playing the long game with us. A slow burn romance, if you will. We've got Bride by Ali Hazelwood, and I know this is much anticipated by many, many of us. And I know we all are wondering, will Ali Hazelwood surprise us? Like it all. We'll see, given this is her first foray into the world of fantasy, but she's making it romancy, so baby steps. This is a marriage of convenience. So, once upon a time, Misery, and no, I'm not kidding, Misery, the only daughter of the most powerful vampire councilman. Vampires are being spelled with a Y in this world, in case you were wondering. I bet she's teeny tiny. You know she is. You know she is. Misery is brought back into the world of the supernaturals. That's right, my friends. She's no longer allowed to live and hide out amongst us silly little mortals and humans. No, she is going to surrender herself in exchange to the vampires' powerful mortal enemies, the Wares, not werewolves, the Wares, to uphold an historic peacekeeping alliance. How, you ask? Marriage of convenience. Sorry. Lo, the alpha, who absolutely is going to be massive, 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 tall, broody, dark-haired, taciturn. You know where I'm going. He's the same as all her other leads. Okay. The alpha might be ruthless and unpredictable, but while he rules with absolute authority, we love to see it, he also rules with justice and feeling, unlike the cold vampires. Daddy was not nice growing up to you, was he? He watches Misery carefully because he doesn't trust her one bit, but Misery will happily remain in wolf territory in this silly marriage of convenience because apparently she has some mysterious reason that she's going to remain there unbeknownst to everyone, and it's the only thing she cares about in the whole wide world. Betcha only Wares allow women to study STEM. That totally could be it. It's Ali Hazelwood. I'm just saying. You never know. Okay, moving on. Next up, we have on the 13th, because they're being weird about it, Not Your Crush's Cauldron by April Asher. Now, this is the next one in that series that I loved. I'm going to pop up the other books up here. And this is about the third sister, Olive. She was like Miss Perfect, if you recall her. Poor Olive. She was like the total good girl and like never did anything bad. And we all know the type, right? Like not one toe out of line. So she decides, you know what? I'm going to spice it up and move in with my best friend. So far, this does not sound bad, but she's going to move in with a bad boy, Baxter. I know, he sounds like a puppy dog. She calls him Bax. I'm gonna have to work on this. But anyway, he's got tattoos and a motorcycle and is a guardian angel. You've lost me again. But I'm going to picture Hunt Athalar and give this a go. Baxter apparently sucks at being a guardian angel, and he already has a bunch of black marks, and like he's not very good at it, so I guess sure, bad boy, motorcycle, tattoos. I can see why you'd be a bad guardian angel. Anyway, she is suddenly on his list of people to protect, and he's like, what are you talking about? This girl like sings to birds. What? And that is because she has made a list of dares for herself, you know, moving in with the bad boy, and see, coming full circle there. And all of a sudden he realizes, oh crap, now I'm really in trouble because I'm in danger of breaking the #1 rule for guardian angels. Do not fall in love with your charges. I think he's gonna fall in love with his #1 charge. Sorry, I'm feeling Mute Valentine's feels. The outfit's done something to me. On to the 15th, which is indeed a Tuesday, I'm pretty sure, because there's lots of releases, we have got An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson, and I am betting my bottom dollar that we are going to get a special edition on this one from Fairyloot, and this is not like a surprise or anything. I just think we're going to get one of the ones that you have to buy and like wait in those horrible queues, because it sort of comes next in like the Dowry of Blood-esque world. First we had like a Dracula retelling, right? Well, this is a retelling sort of-ish kind of Carmilla, and Carmilla is the OG vampire, but she is a girl. So here is S.T. Gibson's take on Carmilla. This is a dark academia book, Dark Academia Vampires. Why is this not coming out in the fall? This takes place in the Forgotten Hills of Massachusetts at a college called St. Perpetua's, where secrets are currency and ambition is lifeblood. Laura is academic rivals with Carmilla. Academic rivals to lovers. Okay, got it. And they are drawn into the confidence of their demanding poetry professor, De La Fontaine. Sure. Who has this dark obsession with Camilla? Are we on like sapphic threesome? Or is that like frowned upon? What year are we in? I know nothing. It's time to find out just exactly how much Laura and Carmilla are willing to sacrifice in their ruthless pursuit of knowledge. Can I add or each other? No. Also on the 15th, we have Sunbringer. This is the sequel to Godkiller. So I can't tell you what the sequel's about because spoilers. So I'll give you a brief little summary of Godkiller. This is about Kristin, whose family was killed by the gods, so she goes on to be a godkiller and kill lots of gods. Totally makes sense, right? And then one day she finds a god she cannot kill because he is bound to himself to a young noble, and they're both on the run. So super fun for everyone. Eventually they are joined by a knight, and they all decide they are going to head to this ruined city where wild gods still exist so they can ask all of them for a favor. Meanwhile, this whole time they are pursued by demons in the midst of a world that is embroiled in a civil war. That's not chaotic at all. By the way, fun fact, Kissen means pillow in German. So we are following a god killer named Pillow. Now I feel like to read this book. Oh, it's gonna be good knowing that fact. Also, last on the 15th is The Book of Doors by Gareth Brown, which I have not heard a ton about, which is a total shame because this one is very intriguing and it sounds very interesting, and I'm so curious to see which way it's going to go. So this is about a bookstore owner, and one day one of her patrons just gives her a book, and she's like, cool, thanks, I love books so much, obviously, I'm a bookstore owner. And then it turns out this book is magical, and it allows her to travel to anywhere they wish. The Book of Doors, like the door becomes any door to anywhere. So her and her best friend Izzy are traveling around everywhere, they're having a fantastic time, only soon they discover that there are other magical books in the world. And you know, some are wondrous, some are dreadful. You know, it really kind of depends who has the book. Like, I'd go pet really cute animals. I could see other people causing a lot of trouble. So, Cassie and her bestie Izzy, who've just been traveling around, now find themselves to be in grave danger, and it seems the only one who can help them is this guy named, wait for it, Drummond Fox. Where do people get these names? I love it so much. He is a man with a secret library that he's totally hidden away from the world that is full of all these magical books that obviously need, like, super secret safekeeping. Unfortunately, someone is hunting them all, and you know what? Some doors, they should just never be opened. That's the end of the summary. I think it even leaves off with like an ellipses. So I'm really curious. It sounds kind of like magical realism, but it's totally listed as magical realism and fantasy. So I want to know if some of the worlds are fantastical. I want to know if the fantasy is just the books. I am so curious to see about this one. And I don't have a ton of male authors on my list. So really excited to see where this one goes. Next up on the 20th is A Tempest of Tea by House of Fragile, and this is primed for a special edition. If you ask me, probably one we're gonna have to buy ourselves, probably. It kind of had me at the title, not gonna lie. We all know I'm obsessed with tea at this point, and this is very much described as like Six of Crows-esque, and when you hear the description, you'll totally get why, except Kaz is a girl this time. Okay, so we have Arthi, who is an orphan, a criminal mastermind, and a collector of secrets. Same girl. Same. She runs this prestigious tea room during the day. Love it. And at night, it becomes an illegal bloodhouse for vampires. Please tell me they are drinking out of teacups. Please. I love the image. I want that image. One day, this establishment is threatened, so she strikes this deal with this alluring adversary so she can infiltrate the glittering vampire society. It sounds great already, right? Like, you're sold. I'm sold. Of course, unfortunately, every member of this crew that she has gathered up is not completely loyal to her. Bummer. And she finds herself in the middle of a conspiracy. Always the conspiracy. And not only that, it is one that threatens the world as she knows it. That's right. Not just her bloodhouse, the whole entire freaking world. This is described as dark, action-packed, and swoon-worthy. I'm really excited for this one. If the name sounds familiar, that is because this is the author of We Hunt the Flame. So if you enjoyed her writing that, you'll enjoy her writing this. On the 20th, we also have To Cage a God by Elizabeth May. Now, this is the first in a duology, and I love a good duology. It's so nice when we know how many books we're getting. Sarah J. Maas. So this is intriguing too because this is an Imperial Russia inspired romantasy. I'm listening. Now, to cage a god is divine, to be divine is to rule is to destroy. To rule is to destroy. We're up to a happy start, aren't we? Yay, Imperial Russia! We're not going to be singing Once Upon a December, are we? So we've got Galena and Sarah, and their mother grafted gods into their bones. How fun. And these brutal deities, bound to them, grant them these forbidden powers that have not been seen amongst commoners in like a millennia. So Galena and Sarah, they're basically living weapons. How fun for them and the people around them. Basically, they've been raised to overthrow the empire, regardless of the cost. Wow, Mom, what preschool did they go to? So, with the country on the brink of war, they decide to join the rebellion to take down the royal family. We really are going Imperial Russia. This is like alternative history. Okay, cool. So while Sarah reunites with her estranged lover, who is now the violent rebellion leader, Galena decides to infiltrate the palace. Good for you, Galena. And her only refuge there is an isolated, lonely princess. Okay, if her name is not Anastasia, I will rebel. I am saying it now. Now, this princess is witty, smart, beautiful, and clever enough to probably figure out Galena, and Galena must ultimately decide between desire and duty. We're going sapphic? Ooh, I'm down. We also have another familiar name coming next on the 20th, and that is The Ashfire King by Chelsea Abdullah. This is the second in the Sandsea trilogy, aka the sequel to The Stardust Thief. So again, can't tell you this book, but I can talk about the first one, and even though I still haven't read it, bad Kristen, I know. So it's inspired by 1001 Nights, and it's about the Midnight Merchant. She is a thief with a djinn of her own who is blackmailed by the Sultan to go on a quest across the barren land, guessing desert here, along with his cowardly eldest son, Prince, cool, to get an ancient, you guessed it, lamp. I will definitely be reading that at some point this year. I do have the pretty Fairyloot copy, so very bad, Kristen. Moving along to February 27th, we have Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen, and if she sounds familiar, that's because she is the one who wrote The Bridge Kingdom. Now, what had me very curious about this one, despite the fact that it sounds a little violent, is the fact that it is Norse-based fantasy romance, and you do not get a ton of Norse-based stuff, and I really am kind of intrigued by Norse mythology. Ever since I read Norse mythology, a little on the nose, I know, by Neil Gaiman, I kind of got hooked. So, what can I say? Anyway, this one is about a shield maiden who is blessed by the gods to unite a nation under a power-hungry king while fighting her growing desire for his son. Oh, you heard me right. Love a girl going after a younger man, or maybe he is her age, who knows. Those kings are usually pretty old, right? Anyway, so this is about Freya. Of course, her name is Freya. And she is stuck in this really lousy marriage. Like, she's spending every day, like, getting fish, and her husband is terrible. And one day, he, like, betrays her to the king, and she is ultimately forced to fight the king's son, and by doing that, she is forced to reveal that, hey, I have powers that mean I can't get injured. Shield Maiden. Thus, she is capable of repelling any attack. Now, there's this prophecy that says one day, someone with this magic is going to unite their fractured kingdom. So immediately, the Jarl, that's who, like, their king kind of is, he binds her to him and is like, you're mine. This means that we're going to unite the whole, like, kingdom under all of us. I'm going to rule everything. Mwahahaha. And he's like, you, son, you were fighting her? Well, guess what, Bjorn? Now you are guarding her. Oh, nothing's going to go wrong here. Did I mention Bjorn is, like, ripped and hot? Like, think Viking, you know, Norse mythology. Messy meet cute, but good luck resisting Bjorn, Freya. Also on the 27th, we have Where the Dark Stands Still by A.B. Brennick, and I have to tell you, it was the cover that drew me into this one. Check that out. It is stunning. I would love to see a special edition of this one. Don't know if we're gonna get it. Don't know if we need it with that cover. Man. So this has slightly a weird description, and I feared it was gonna get a little violent, creepy, but horror is not listed under it at all anywhere, so I'm gonna give it a shot because it sounds vaguely like Labyrinth, Beauty and the Beast. You'll see what I mean in a sec. Okay, so this is about Liska, and she knows that magic is monstrous and its practitioners are monsters. But when she unleashes her own power and causes all this destruction and stuff, you know, consequences! She is caught by the Lessie. This is a demon warden that lives in the spirit wood right next to her village. And this creature offers her a bargain. Look, you give me 1 year of servitude and I will give you 1 wish. And I'm sure she's thinking she can solve all of her problems with this. What have we learned about bargains? I can loan you a few books, Liska. Off she is whisked to his crumbling manor, where she realizes this bargain has some seriously sinister roots. Who's shocked? Raise your hand. No one. No one's shocked. So if she's going to survive the year and, like, make it home, she needs to discover Leslie's secrets and face his ghost. Why she has to face his ghost, I don't know, but sure, okay, fine. It sounds unique. The cover is gorgeous. I feel like we're gonna get some sort of really cool mythology references or something here. I just feel like there's something hidden in this book that I need to discover. Leslie's secrets, I guess, so definitely want to pick this one up. Also, on the 27th, we have Fathomfolk by Eliza Chan. This is the first in a new series called Drowned World. This sounds young to me, but we'll see. And when I say this has the most intriguing sounding world, oh my goodness. So this is described as having revolutionary magic set against a glittering, semi-submerged city, a shining pearl of human civilization and a safe haven. But like below the skyscrapers and all these like aerial walkways and stuff, there are sirens, sea witches, kelpies, and kappas. Now, Mira is the Fathomfolk. That means she is half of one of those things. So half siren, to be specific, which, yay, that's what I would have picked. And as a newly promoted captain of the border guard, she is hoping to perform all these like harshly restrictive laws against the Fathomfolk that keep them from basically doing, oh, I don't know, anything. We've seen this before, but you know what? It's a trope for a reason. Then one day, Nami shows up, and Nami is an aristocratic water dragon, sure, who's just been exiled from her own land to this city. And she feels like, you know what, Mira, you're cool and all, but you are not making enough progress trying to like gain respect and crap. I'm going to join these like anti-human hating extremists. Oh boy. So now Mira is dividing her time trying to find these extremists, keep Nami safe, make sure they're not doing anything stupid, and gain the respect and trust of the humans so she can make everything better for the Fathomfolk in the city. And behind the scenes, there's the sea witch pulling all kinds of strings, and boy, well, she is not helping anything at all. One day, the extremists do pull off some kind of explosion at this like public event, and things get even worse for the Fathomfolk, and that is where the summary ends. I am looking forward to this. I think it's going to be very interesting. What intrigues me the most is the world itself. I want to see the city so badly, but the description, I'm afraid this is going to lean a little young. I hope it is more sophisticated than the description is making it sound, and I have a lot of faith in this one for some reason. There is something about it I keep going back to. So cross your fingers with me that this is going to be as amazing as I'm hoping. I feel like this is going to be one of those ones where the first book is like a little intro and then the world explodes. And the very last release of this month is The Crimson Moth by Kristin-fy or Ciccarelli. And I've not heard a lot of people talking about this one, but this is the one I am possibly most excited for the entire 2 months coming up. Wait until you hear this description, guys. This is, first of all, enemies to lovers, which is always going to get like me excited to begin with. So this is post-revolution, witches no longer rule but are now outcasts, and Rune must hide what she is. By day, she's a vapid socialite, but by night, she's Crimson Moth, witch vigilante. I mean, the name maybe could have used a little workshopping, but it's cool. Whatever. I'm sure it has symbolism in the world. And she saves her kind from being purged. When a rescue goes wrong, she decides to throw the hunters off of her scent and gain some much needed intel by courting this notorious witch hunter who is absolutely merciless and brilliant at his job, might I add. Also, like, devastatingly handsome. Gideon Sharp. What could go wrong? I'm adding that. She can't help but falling for Gideon, but Gideon thinks she's vapid. Guess she's a good actress. Good for you. Sort of. However, Gideon realizes that the Crimson Moth is using Rune's ships for smuggling purposes. So what's he to do but also pretend to court her right back? Oh god. They're both pretending to court each other. That's not gonna be awkward. Okay, sure. Unfortunately, fortunately, who's to say, he soon sees through her facade and realizes she's actually clever and brilliant. And, oh god, what if she's the villain he's been hunting? It's a duology. It's going to be amazing. Please be amazing, because this description has me absolutely salivating. I need this book. Now, if you don't want to hear any of the information I have gathered about the books that book boxes have chosen for their upcoming subscription boxes, please like and subscribe, and I hope very much that you enjoyed this video. Please go back to enjoying whatever book you are currently reading. I hope it's a great one. For the rest of you, here's the dirt I got. For January, A Fragile Enchantment, which comes out on the 2nd, is the Fairyloot pick for January for their YA box. Please note that although I will not be mentioning Owlcrate again, Owlcrate has also chosen this for their YA box, so if you subscribe to both, be aware that you need to choose. Sanctuary of the Shadow, which comes out on the 9th, is going to be the bookish box for March. Okay, bookish box. You do you. That's totally fine. The Longest Autumn, oh, I lied, is going to be an Owlcrate Adult Edition, and I am crying over it because I want it so badly that I was searching for a special edition of it, and I'm kind of out of luck because that's definitely one I will not be getting. But if you are so lucky to be getting it, lucky, 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 lucky you! Oh my goodness. Faebound is the December choice for the Fairyloot Adult box, which means we are getting that almost an entire month early. So thank you very much, Fairyloot, for that choice. Pretty excited for that. And City of Stardust is the Fairyloot choice for the January Adult box. Looking ahead to February, Bride is going to be an Illumicrate Afterlight Special Edition, and you will get early access if you are an Afterlight subscriber, which I'm not, and I've never wanted to be until this very moment. But I don't know if it will last if you are not and make it to general sale, so heads up now, kids. We are also pretty sure that A Fate Inked in Blood is going to be the Fairyloot adult book for that month, that Fathomfolk is going to be the March Illumicrate book, and that the Crimson Moth is the February Fairyloot YA selection. Also, the Illumicrate February book is going to be To Cage a God. So those are all of the little tidbits I have for you. I hope you enjoyed my January and February list of books that I'm most looking forward to. Thank you so much for sticking around this long if you did, and enjoying some of my little secret spoilers. If you're wondering where I got my info, a lot of the book boxes just tell you at this point. Like, I'm not psychic or anything. Also, you can follow, I think it's Autumn Reads or the Autumn Reader on Instagram. She is psychic, as is the Eater of Stories on the internet. She actually has a website. I know, weird, right? So yeah, they always know what's up. Check them out. But that's it for me today. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like and subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment if you're looking forward to any of these books, or if you think I missed some. Thank you so much. I'll let you get back to your book, and I'll be getting back to mine. I can't wait to get into some of these as they start coming out very, very soon. And I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.